Welcome to this trauma-informed yoga practice for the hamstrings, which are the muscles on the backs of the legs up here. This is going to be a flow that will work on lengthening out these hamstrings or giving the sensation of lengthening and stretching. It may be handy to have a couple blocks for this practice. They can be really nice for the hands if you feel like your hamstrings feel tight and you just can't quite reach down to the ground. So if you happen to have those, feel free to grab them. And we're actually going to start today's practice in standing to warm up the body a little bit. So I invite you to start standing on your mat whenever you're ready and just do some gentle marching. So kind of walking back and forth with the legs, warming up the body, warming up the legs, getting some blood flowing. Just do whatever movements feel intuitive for you with the legs. You can do bigger marches or smaller marches. Might feel a little silly regardless. Totally normal. A few more of these. Maybe doing some smaller ones or lower down ones, but a little bit faster. Perhaps just giving a little shake of the legs. Amazing. And we'll move right into the hamstring practice. So you can turn lengthwise on your mat. We'll move right into a forward fold. So reaching down towards the ground. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you would like, or option to grab the block if you have a block handy. Place your hands on that block and just hold here for a moment. Knowing that if at any point the hamstring muscles, those muscles on the backs of the legs, feel like they're getting too much of a stretch or they feel uncomfortable, always an option to come out or to just bend them a little bit more. Give them a bit of a break. One more nice breath here, in and out. If you have a block, probably best to move it off to the side for a moment. We're going to flow down to cobra here. So hands on the mat, bringing the legs out behind you. You can have the legs up or you can bring the knees down. And then just gently go down to the ground here, lifting the chest up on an inhale for cobra. Exhale, coming back. Moving into a downward dog for more of a handspring movement here. So up onto the balls of your feet, hands are forward. You're going to lift those hips up backwards behind you. Once again, you can bend the knees as much as you need here. Pushing those hands away, pushing those shoulders away. And then if you'd like, you can walk your dog. So bending one knee, straightening the other one. We're walking back and forth. Getting that nice stretch throughout each hamstring, each calf, backs of the legs. If at any point this feels like too much, you can come down into child shape if that feels better for you. Couple more walks. And then you're going to walk right up into forward fold again. Once again, knees as bent as you need. Moving into pyramid. If you have your blocks, maybe handy here. And of course, if you don't have blocks, books work totally fine. From here, you're going to take your left foot and you're just going to bring it behind the right one. And they're just slightly separated from each other. And then from here, straightening both legs as much as feels comfortable. Then you can have your hands on the blocks up by your front foot. If you want more of a sensation, more of a stretch through the hamstrings, you might want to have your blocks on the lower level. Or if that feels, like it's not giving you a stretch, you can even put your hands down on the ground. So choosing the best variation for your body today. Taking a few moments here, wherever you are, keeping that neck nice and long. On your next exhale, bringing both feet together and switching sides. So now left leg's forward, right leg's back. Feet are slightly separate from each other. And you may decide that you want your hands to be in a different shape on the side. Maybe the block feels like it needs to be higher or lower. Everyone's legs are different and bodies are different, so one side may feel tighter than the other. Holding here, neck long. Making sure the hips are forward as well. One more breath here. And then you can bring the feet back together and just rest in your forward fold for a moment. Maybe you have the blocks, maybe you don't. Gentle stretch throughout the backs of the legs, the lower back, knowing you can come out at any time. Amazing. On an exhale, if you have your blocks, putting them aside for a second. Placing your hands on the ground, taking your right leg behind you so you're in a low lunge. So left leg is going to stay up, right leg goes back, giving the hamstrings a second break here and just moving through the quads, muscles at the front of the legs, holding this nice low lunge. My cat has decided to jump around during this, of course. And then from here, coming into a hamstring stretch. So from the low lunge, taking your front leg, straightening it as much as feels comfortable. Once again, you might want to have blocks here. Could have them on the lower side. If it feels good, you could place your hands on the ground instead. And just feeling that gentle stretch through the front leg. If you need to, you can bring the back knee back a little bit. Sometimes that feels nicer for the legs. As you're here, thinking chest forward, back long. One nice inhale and exhale. Coming into that lunge again, switching sides. So you're going to take that left foot, bring it back. Right leg is going to go forward once again. Give those hamstrings a bit of a break. Move into the lunge here. Stretch out the quads. And then when you're ready, same thing on this side. Front leg is going to straighten. Hamstring stretch on this leg. May feel different from side to side. You might want to have different block variations or different hand variations. Completely normal. One more breath here in and out. Amazing. Coming back into that lunge wherever your blocks are. If they're with you, you can move them off to the side once again. And then just swing your legs forward so that you're in a long sit. Couple more hamstring stretches here. So once in long sit, you may decide you want to sit like this. This might feel like too much for the legs. Maybe you want to bend the knees a little bit and put a block underneath them. That's completely fine. You may feel like you want more of a sensation, and if you do, you can gradually slide your hands down your legs so you're bending a little bit through the back, feeling more of a sensation through the backs of the legs. And as you're doing this, once again, thinking long through the chest. One more breath here in and out. On your exhale, coming into a straddle sit. So now legs are a little bit wider, as wide as feels comfortable for you. Doesn't have to be as wide as mine. You can make them a little bit closer together. And then from here, once again, you may decide to stay here with your chest up. You may decide you want to lean forward. You can lean as forward as you would like. Perhaps you grab your block and you rest your forearms on a block or your hands on a block. Spending a few moments here working through more of the inner side of the hamstrings and getting a little bit more through the inner thighs here, different sensation perhaps from the other exercises today. If it ever feels like too much, you can bend the knees a little bit or come out. One more breath wherever you are. Coming back out and meeting me lying on your back for the last couple movements here. Working through a hamstring stretch on your back. Left leg's going to go up. You're going to take your hands on the back of the left leg. Right leg can either be bent or straight, whichever you prefer. And from here, just straightening the left leg as much as feels comfortable. Getting a stretch through the back of the leg. You could hold the leg straight here, or you could bend and straighten. Whichever you prefer. Moving through a few breaths. Letting go of the left leg, moving onto the right leg, going as straight as feels comfortable. Holding with your hands. Trying to relax the upper body. Few breaths here. So again, you could bend and straighten, or you could hold, whatever you prefer. And when you're ready, going into your final resting shape, whatever that looks like to you. Maybe you close your eyes, maybe you give your legs a final little shake out here. Thank you so much for joining me today. You can stay and rest as long as you would like. I'll see you next time.